Hey, what's up, Giants fans? Welcome to another episode of Giants Talk. I'm Cole Kuiper here with Giants insider Alex Pavlovic. We've got more Giants updates and Team USA updates, including Logan Webb making his appearance, plus Hayden Birdsong's injury, spring training cuts, and much more. Before we get started, Giants Talk is presented by Mancini's Sleep World. Why Mancini's? What separates us from others? The Rest Easy Promise. That means 365-night comfort guarantee, free next-day delivery and older mattress removal, best price guarantee, and 0% financing for 60 months. You won't find this combination of benefits anywhere else. It's comfort, convenience, and confidence all rolled into one. Stop by or visit online at sleepworld.com. All right, Alex, we're recording this Sunday night. So before we get into Hayden Birdsong or anything else, I want to talk about Sunday's spring training game with the Giants coming up one batter short of a combined perfect game. My question is, would that have been emergency podcast worthy?
It would not have, because I had a prior engagement tonight that I would have not have been able to.
Fair.
Actually, to take you behind the curtain a little bit, we had an NBC event tonight, and it was a little tight with the game, and I'm like, it's like 100 degrees out here. This is a blowout after the second inning. And I'm like, I might just leave during the game, go prepare for our NBC event, pack to come home. And then I look up in the sixth, and it's like perfect game alert on the MLB app. I'm like, I'll just wait until someone gets a hit. And I was there the whole time.
Yep. So you had to wait quite a while. Yeah.
It was fun, though. It was interesting. Like, I don't think people really realized until the end. And then people were actually like standing at 26 outs. Like, it was
gives you something to like root for. Makes it interesting, even if it is exhibition.
It was interesting. The guy who got the hit was a former Tennessee player. So
I saw that. Tony.
Tony's guys. A few interesting things about it, including there was a lot of yelling at the umpire when Gregory Santos walked a guy, and he had the right calls. And I looked up, and I was a little surprised that the Giants didn't challenge one of them, just because I'm like, somebody there must know, like, perfect game's on the line. Spring training perfect game is on the line. And I looked up, and they were out of challenges. So just another little thing that, like, I doubt we will ever be in a situation where the Giants can't challenge a call that ends a perfect game because they ran out of challenges. But there will be probably a game this year at some point where there's a big call late, and you're like, oh wait, you can't challenge it. So
the Giants spring training call may have at the end of the day been right, but there was another big game today that ended on a call that was not right. And we will get to the World Baseball Classic later on.
Also, by the way, and some of them are probably Giants Talk listeners because I've met a ton of them the last few days. The people who sit up close and have a few beers and start yelling at the ump, like, we have ABS now. So you're losing some of your things you can yell.
Yeah.
They would challenge that if they could.
Let's get to Hayden Birdsong real quick. Probably the biggest piece of news in the Giants world. Hayden Birdsong, we've talked about how this is the year he really has to figure it out for the Giants to execute the 2026 vision. And that is all getting rewritten now, as it was confirmed he has a grade 2 forearm strain, UCL sprain. This on paper looks and sounds bad, Alex.
Mm-hmm.
Are you here to talk me off the ledge, or are you here to confirm my wildest fears?
I'm not here to talk you off the ledge. We talked to Hayden today, and he's, he doesn't know when he's going to go to Dallas and see Dr. Meister, but initial diagnosis wasn't great. He mentioned something today about, we hope it's better than it looks. So I think he kind of has heard some things as well. This generally, I don't want to say generally, quite often leads to Tommy John, which is, a year and a year plus for a young starter, probably a year and a few months of next season. Maybe you get good news and it's rehabable. The Giants have had some success there. I mean, we'll see long-term with some of these guys, but like Eric Miller, Landon Roop last year, they had brief elbow scares and they both ended up being okay. So Giants have had really good success in that department. Like, I was looking back, and Johnny Cueto had Tommy John, Tyler Beatty did, a couple Webb and Keaton Wynn and some of these guys did in the minors. But in general, they've been pretty good, and they're pretty good about rehabbing things. So it's possible they come out with a better way here, and something that can. Your lights just turned off. I'll keep talking while you turn them on. So it's possible they come up with something else, and maybe he hears he can try to rehab and try to get some injections and all of that. But it's not great news when you hear this. And I think also a guy that we've talked about a ton in the offseason. I know I personally talked about a ton, just as potentially a upside piece for the rotation, or potentially a big piece for their bullpen. And didn't really have a great spring, but the last time out he was like 97 to 99 and throwing all 4 pitches for strikes, and was just really encouraging the outing he got hurt in. Like before he felt something, it was as good as it's been for a long time. So, and he looked like somebody who could be a late inning guy for them like right away. So it's a bummer from that respect. And for him, no matter what, I mean, this is going to be either a huge chunk of this season or the whole season. So it sucks. And certainly for a team that has some bullpen questions, and a team that, could use a little bit more pitching depth. It's not great.
Are we going to get clarification soon? They're getting a second opinion, or is it kind of just we're no news for now? We're moving on to other issues and solving this.
I think we'll probably hear in the next few days what he decides to do. And again, sometimes guys get good news, and sometimes you get surprising news. And but yeah, you just hearing him talk about what he felt and kind of the sensation he felt when he threw a curveball on Tuesday just wasn't, didn't sound great. And obviously the diagnosis here is a little concerning. And I know the Giants behind the scenes are a little worried as well about, the obvious answer here. So hope for the best for him. I think he, had a really good outlook the last couple of days when we talked to him. But yeah, it's tough for young pitchers. Like this is often, we talk about this a lot. It's the elbow thing is almost like a rite of passage for young pitchers at some point. It's guys who don't have something happen, it's more rare than the guys who do. So, we'll see what happens. I think maybe by the time we podcast next, or certainly I'd guess by opening day, we'd have much more clarity on what's next for Hayden and how long he'll be out.
Yeah. Completely ill-informed question, Alex. Forgive me if it's moronic. Is this the kind of thing that is traceable to one bad pitch that just didn't go great this week in spring training? Or is this something that we look back to him kind of falling apart mid-year last year, and this could have been developing since then?
It's a good question, and it's one I asked him today just because I did see some of that on social media of people like, oh, this kind of explains the last year. And he was like, no, not like it. I didn't feel anything last year. He felt it literally a curveball, his second to last pitch on Tuesday, and felt he couldn't even really describe what he felt, but he's like, he felt something happen in the arm.
You just know it's wrong immediately.
Yeah, and he threw one more pitch to see if it was okay, and it was a changeup, and he got out of the inning, and then he went and got his stuff, and that was that. So, this has nothing to do with last season. That was a different issue for him, and I think the unfortunate thing is it does seem like he was starting to iron out a little bit of that.
Yeah,
and I thought he really had a chance to, and I know some of his teammates did as well, really had a chance to impact the bullpen early on, and maybe not right away on opening day, but if he continued to head in this direction. So we'll see where it goes. Only 24 years old. I still just, the stuff's electric when he's on, and just needs to figure it out. But this certainly delays that a little bit.
Reaction wise, not like emotionally, but strategically from the Giants, what do we think happens here? Are they now shopping around for more arms, kind of like they did earlier to reunite with Joey Lucchesi? Are they just kind of patching this from the inside?
Yeah, the interesting thing is they're actually in phenomenal shape, just all things considered, with their rotation, which is with the offseason they had, and it was a little, what do we describe it? A little not flashy?
Yeah, the first word that came to mind was lackluster, but I feel like that is too harsh. It just, not flashy.
Well, I'll just say like they're a week from leaving, 5 days from leaving here, and we've seen Logan in the WBC and what he looks like, and he will come back healthy. Robbie Ray threw 5 perfect innings today, and he threw 4 hitless innings the last time out, and looks like the all-star version from last year, not the guy who ran out of gas. Landon Roop looks good. Adrian Hauser's like pretty consistently 96 miles per hour. There was a weird 99 on the gun the other day that everyone's like, where'd this come from? And just further solidified what has been bubbling for me for a couple of weeks. The radar, the readings at Scottsdale Stadium have been a little suspicious, but he's pretty consistently had good velocity the whole spring, no matter where he is. And then,
all right, we'll work on crowdfunding you that radar gun, Alex.
Yeah, give me the TrackMan. But there's just a couple. I'm like, we're just a little bit off here. So, and it's tough because you also we have all the data now, and you want to be like, ooh, this is. I think Gerard was actually like 463 feet today, but you want to like jump on that stuff when you see a.
Yeah, but if you have to question the data, then you start to question everything.
Yeah, so just questioning the numbers a little bit because you see some weird ones, but he's looked good, and Tyler Malley's looked good. And his velocity has been solid no matter where he's been, and kind of has been exactly what they expected. And the most important thing is all those guys here on March 16th are healthy, and they have their 5. So rotation, I actually think they feel is in pretty good shape. The bullpen is the group that is just, and it's not just me saying it every twice a week when you and I get together. It is Giants people I talk to, and just people in the clubhouse, people around the team, where I just go like, what do you think? And it always goes back to the same thing, like bullpen, what's it going to be? So
yeah,
and that's the killer here, is like, this is a piece that was potentially a part of that. And there's McDonald, there's Wisenhunt, as you mentioned, that's thrown well. Tidwell has shown some flashes. Keaton Wynn had a rough one the last time out, but the time before that looked like awesome. Just was like up to 99, good split. So yeah, there's solutions there, but you don't want to chip away at it too much, because we saw last year, like, the depth can go pretty fast.
Yeah, it absolutely can. And we actually got a glimpse of a piece of that depth that went during the WBC game tonight. We will get to that later. Outside of pitching, though, the Giants also had a injury pop up with Parks Harber, who's looked great in Scottsdale so far. And one of those guys who I kept seeing articles on throughout the whole offseason from New York, the did the Yankees blow it by getting rid of this guy articles, which is just music to my ears. So I was really looking forward to seeing him blossom as a Giant.
I thought you were going to say from me, because
yes, I'm obviously seeing yours, and I'm actually reading yours. It's the headlines I see from New York.
Yeah, he had the old like the hamstring strain where you just right away go, oh, that's like, he held up between second and third and kind of hobbled. He actually was walking okay by the time he got to the dugout. So maybe it was more of a really bad cramp instead of you hope that he's going to have an MRI, and we'll have those results by the next episode. But I thought he had a good spring. He ends up hitting 357. He was 10 for 28, had 1 home run, but just thought he looked comfortable. I was a little disappointed we didn't see him in the outfield much, just because there's no path for him at third base or at first base. But I thought he looked fine at third and just had a good approach. And certainly, like, everything you hear about this guy, that like he can really hit, like, almost, he can really hit. Like, he's comfortable in that batter's box. So hopefully this isn't too bad, because he was supposed to go to Double-A and be right there with Bo Davidson and some of those guys. So hopefully not too long for him.
And most importantly to me, and I hope the hamstring or cramp or whatever it turns into doesn't impact this, is he can run. And we've been saying for a while the Giants need the guys who can open it up a little on the base pass.
I think you're thinking of other guys.
Am I? All right. That happens from time to time.
You might have confused him with some of the other guys on our list. But
That's fair.
No, but he could really – I watched him take BP a ton and watched him in games, and he can really hit. Like, it's just one of those guys, like, you're like, he's going to hit enough to be a big leaguer at some point. And maybe when he gets here, he'll be running. So,
there we go. Thank you, Alex. I'm predicting the future.
You never know.
We are also saying goodbye to some characters from spring training as the Giants made a large round of cuts. Do we want to go through these name by name?
Yeah, still weirdly, like, haven't been that many cuts, given that they're going home soon and like boxes are in the clubhouse. But I'll just go through them. And Will Bednar, Trent Harris going to AAA, two right-handers. Bednar, it was interesting. We talked to Justin Message, new pitching coach, and he's like, we're going to see him this year. Like he hinted at that. Just best fastball metrics in the organization. He picked up all these guys. A lot of these young guys kind of have this. I don't even know what they call it. Different things. It's like they all call it a cutter. Christian Wonders, who's kind of taught it to him, calls it like a four-seam slider. It's like a gyro slider. Anyway, it's just basically like a new pitch for a lot of these guys, and Bednar is one of those who they're confident that can help him quite a bit. So curious, we'll be following him certainly. And Trent Harris, he's somebody who's been on the radar for a bit. Diego Cartaya, I think we talked about a fair amount because he's like a former top 20 prospect.
Yeah,
ended up getting like 5 at bats all spring. He
was from the Dodgers system. Right?
Dodgers system and then Twins, and he's got a lot of work to do at the plate. And it's interesting because he's been in AAA a fair amount, but he seems like he might be headed back to AA just because, assuming Suzak makes the roster and Rodriguez, and they have Rodriguez, Haas, Logan Porter, like Cartaya was like very clearly the sixth catcher this spring, and so some work to do for him. Juan Sanchez, the lefty, he had a shot before Miller came back and Lucchesi returned to be in the mix for opening day. Had a really good spring, didn't give up a run. I think we're going to see him this year. Logan Ramos, funky dude. Did not see a whole lot of him this spring, but he'll be in AAA as well. And then Bo Davidson, we've talked about a fair amount, their top outfield prospect. Just not a lot of reps there for him this spring. So he's going to AA. He'll be the center fielder there, and we'll see where it ends up for him. But I think for him and Parks especially, like they got a pretty long run here because the Giants waited so long to make cuts to go out there and work with these guys every day.
Yeah, great to see that. And then the other big piece of news, I guess, news in the sense that it is covered by everyone, not news in the sense that is surprising to anyone. Logan Webb named opening day starter by manager Tony Vitello. I can't imagine they were even taking this bet on the prediction market apps because this is such a lock.
Kind of named opening day starter.
Kind of half named opening day starter?
Tony said, we haven't written anything down on paper, so it's not like we couldn't change that, but I don't foresee any reason we would need to.
Okay, Tony.
So I was like,
okay, Tony. Killing me.
I don't know that you'll put that on a quote card, but yes, Logan Webb will be starting on opening day, and Robbie Ray will be starting the second game.
Yes.
Even if they don't want to tell us. So shades of 2020 when you get the lineup like an hour before.
Yep, we're doing this all over again.
But yeah, Logan will be the opening day starter.
Speaking of Logan Webb, how about we transition to some World Baseball Classic talk? Logan Webb made his appearance since we last spoke on Giants Talk versus Team Canada, and a great ambassador from the San Francisco Giants to the nationwide baseball fans. Getting accolades from the announcers during the game, just people praising him as one of the guys to watch, one of the dudes. If you don't know who Logan Webb is, you don't know ball, and just looked great out there.
Yeah, I don't think it could have gone any better for him. I mean, 2 good outings, and I don't remember. I was at an event that night, and I was watching with the sound off, so I didn't hear all the praise. I'll count on you to tell me, but I did see a lot on social media, and it's good for him. Like he's been waiting for an opportunity like this. And I think we've talked about this. It's just a real bummer for his career at this point that like the Giants haven't gotten him in more big games because he's stepped up. There was this debate on KNBR about if this was the biggest game of his career, and I think I put the 2 postseason games ahead of it, especially Game 5. And you could make the argument too that the clincher.
I would say the clincher might be higher than any of those 3.
Yeah,
And he hit a home run in it.
Yeah. So this might be the fourth biggest game of his career, but
yeah,
the point is, in all four of those games, he was awesome.
Yeah, he was the dude.
Yeah, he was the dude. And it's like every year when they're that little run they have where they get within like a game and a half of a playoff spot, I think we always talk about like, you get in, you have Logan go in game one and you feel pretty good about it.
Exactly.
So it's a reminder of that and a reminder of what's ahead of them if they can ever actually get back there. But I hope for his sake, and just put all else aside, like I know he desperately wants to be back in big games. And you see what he does when he gets that opportunity.
Yeah. Let Giants do what you have to do to get him back out there, because his big game of the year should not be an exhibition game, especially when some of the players on the team are like devaluing the concept entirely.
His big game should not also be opening day. And then it's like, that's it. Cool. Like you get to, so yeah, he belongs in game one of a postseason series, and they just haven't put him there.
Yeah. Elsewhere around the WBC, Team Japan bounced out of the tournament. Their first quarterfinals loss, I think, ever, or at least in recent eras.
So as you and I are talking, it's the United States is in, and then Venezuela and Italy. So fun one coming either way.
But, either Venezuela versus U.S. or the rematch of Italy-U.S. It's going to be a blast.
And Arise and Buto are there. So some Giants representatives. Someone did ask us why we didn't talk about Buto more, and I'm like, fair point. We can't watch every World Baseball Classic game. So
that's true. There's a lot of baseball going on right now.
I can't say I was fully locked in on the sixth inning of some of these pool play games. But he's been very good. And he'll be there for a while. But everybody else is back. And I think Logan's going to stay through Tuesday now. So he'll be back next week, this week at some point.
Well, here on Sunday night, I did not have an NBC event because I'm not in Scottsdale, and I was doing an all-time channel flipping between Team USA versus Dominican Republic and the Academy Awards. And I ended up doing a lot less Academy Awards than I think my wife would have liked, because it ended up being a great ball game.
I will say we had it on two TVs, and it was on opposite ends of this event venue. And we had some Giants players there, and Casey was there. He was facing one way and I was facing the other when we were doing something on stage. And both of us were watching the ninth inning on different TVs. So
that's great.
We were watching, but without the set, and also trying to like do an event at the same time. But
you're multitasking.
Yeah, really. I watched most of the game before I had to go. As expected, I think just a good baseball game.
Great baseball game. Big moments, both pitching, home run robberies, kind of everything you could ask for. And I don't think I can put into words enough how impressive it is that Team USA managed to stifle that offense as much as they did.
Yeah, by the way, Tyler Rogers, like, did he not get the ball in the offseason? Did someone just realize on like Thursday that he's good?
Right. Now that he's not in San Francisco, we're actually going to think about this guy.
Well, yeah. Where was he in these other games? Maybe he didn't want to go. I know he has young kids, but he belonged on that team. So
absolutely.
And it was also watching, and as you and I talk so much about the bullpen, we're just kind of like, oh, well, there he is. So
there he is. He should be a staple of any bullpen. He should be in the Olympics when it happens. Plus, he's so fun to watch for people who aren't familiar with his game.
Also, there's probably, I can't explain how much of a difference it would make if you just knew the eighth inning was his right now. And you just were like, okay, you hope Walker figures out the ninth and you figure out the other innings. But like, it would be such a big difference, I think, in at least my view of this bullpen, if he was still there.
1,000% to just have that checked off.
Yeah. It's like, you have that, dude. So
yeah, it's there.
But
we already kind of touched on the game did end on a rough call, and the eighth inning kind of had a rough call too. Umpire overall, pretty good game, but the last couple of innings, it got away from him in a way that will mostly be remembered for that.
I think that call is like my least favorite call, the really low breaking ball.
The low breaking ball is a tough one, easy to frame.
Yeah, that gets pulled up, and it's just I've been on the pro ABS train all off season and all spring, and just like for me, cannot get here soon enough just to eliminate things like that where you just go like every single person watching goes, oh, that's not how that should have ended. And also just said, who's on deck? Tatis? Like,
yes. Oh, it was about to get gross.
We're robbed of teammates facing each other in the. So yeah, I hate the way that ended. Just it sucks that we got robbed of a little bit extra.
Yeah. But Team USA moves on. We have Team Italy versus Venezuela on Monday, championship game on Tuesday. So the next time you and I sit down, we will be discussing the aftermath, the end of this tournament.
The WBC champ. So somebody, well, there's nobody on team. Somebody in Giants camp is coming back with the title because Ron Wotus is on Team Italy and David Getty as well. So
yes, there will be a championship brought to the Giants.
Someone's getting bragging rights.
Absolutely. And then on the other TV, I was flipping through the Giants hat from caught stealing. Did not win any Academy Awards.
Unfortunate.
I was hoping it would pull Best Supporting Actor or something.
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year.
Maybe he'll get to throw a first pitch now.
All right. We have mailbag questions and a few other topics to get to here on Giants Talk today. But before we go any further, Giants Talk is presented by Mancini's Sleep World. Mancini's offers high-quality mattresses for ultimate comfort and support, so you wake up energized and refreshed every morning. Plus, in addition to their Rest Easy promise, they have ongoing deals on top brands like Tempur-Pedic, starting at $29 a month, Avocado, Helix, and more. Rest easy at Mancini's Sleep World. Stop by or visit online at sleepworld.com.
I will be reunited with my Mancini's tomorrow.
Yeah, are you looking forward to that? That's one of the roughest parts of going to spring training.
It is. It's fun being here. A lot of nights in a hotel the last month. So we're coming up on the end here. We're excited to get going.
All right. I'm excited to have you back. Our first question today is from Jake. Jake says, is Encarnacion a lock for the opening day roster? I know the Giants want power, but how about Matos for that spot and then a left-handed fifth outfielder? We would lose him to waivers maybe, but has he really shown us that he should be on the roster?
We get that last part a lot from people, and I don't think that's fully fair to him just because he's had the worst injury luck the last couple of years. And look, it might just be part of it with him. Some guys just can't stay healthy, but also a fluke thing at the end of camp last year where he was ready to go and just really bad injury luck. And we've seen flashes from him of him being helpful. And I'll say two things with him. The home run today was 115 off the bat, 463 feet. Looked like a legit 463. And they just don't have that. Like, they don't have that card right now. Like, look, Devers can do that. Eldridge can do that. Those are different. Like, they don't have that guy who's on their bench who can do that.
They don't. There's no guy who's going to be the Lamont Wade Jr., Wilmer Flores savior coming in for you.
And I think there are valuable pieces there. I think Casey's really valuable. Christian Costas had a good spring. We'll see where else they go with the outfield. But, like, you need that guy to hit a home run, like, in the seventh or eighth inning. This is their best bet. And also maybe if Eldridge doesn't make the team, he's probably your DH on opening night and a little bit early in the season. So I don't know if he's a lock. I think he's put himself in a very good spot with his play the last few weeks. And I will say Tony talks about him quite a bit and has been really impressed with how hard he has played. And he's never going to be a great defender, but I think he's done a nice job in the outfield this spring. And Tony's mentioned some of the base running and cutting balls off. So he's certainly impressed the new staff. And I think he's in a much better spot than he was about a week ago at this time.
Next question is from Robin. Robin says, who is the Oliva guy that tied the game for them when they were on TV on Thursday? And Alex has an article about this from earlier this month.
I've written about him. I think this might be who you're thinking about.
I think it is.
The speed that you've seen. Fair. He's also an NRI. He's just an absolute burner. Like, he was 57 for 63 in the minors last year. He has, I think he's 11 for 12 on the bases this spring, and he did it twice this week where he pinch ran earlier this week, stole second, stole third, scored on a sac fly by Encarnacion in the ninth. Did it again. He came in a couple days later, stole second, went to third on like a pass ball or a wild pitch or something. They didn't get him home that time, but just like it's such a different skill set. And he's not just fast, like he's above 30 feet per second in sprint speed, but he also just really knows how to steal bases. So he's an older guy. He's been around a little bit. He's been in AAA with a couple other organizations, Milwaukee last year. But it's a really interesting skill set because it's a really great fit if you can have that roster spot on the bench. Like if you're able to fit him on your bench, like he's somebody who I think could like have a lot of that success at the big league level too. Just he's done it throughout his minor league career, has really good stolen base numbers, and just really seems to know what he's doing. So not an opening day guy, but if the right roster permutations work out, where like he's somebody, for example, who would be great alongside Bryce, just because he can play all three outfield spots, and that's somebody where it's like if Eldridge draws a walk in the ninth inning and you're down by a run, like here you go out there and try to steal second. Probably not try to steal third too often because that's a little riskier, but just a really good fit in certain permutations. And that's why I wrote about him. I'm glad somebody asked about him because he's just a name to remember, I think. So if he shows up at some point on this roster, you're like, oh, that guy. That's the speed guy.
Okay. Keep an eye out for sightings this season. Next question is Sean. Sean says, what's your favorite spot to watch a game at Oracle Park? Alex,
I'll let you go.
Yeah, no, this is a great question. I think if I could be anywhere watching a game at Oracle Park, this just seems so cliche, but I love sitting in the bleachers. I love that angle. I love the vibe of being out there, being right in the sun. Bleachers would be my pick. It's also cool being up on the like right center wall in that it was like a Coors Light area for a while. I don't know if it has changed, but that's a very nice area as well.
All right. I have a great seat in the press box.
Yeah, you do.
You know, my favorite, I don't get to go to many games when I'm not working, but I do occasionally go and meet friends or sometimes go meet up with you or somebody else. I think my favorite is club level, kind of third base side a little bit. Like you have all the views. You're also not like all the way up, so you're close enough to the field. I think that's my favorite part of the ballpark.
Yeah, so, that's solid.
And it's similar, like kind of where your dad and Mike get to watch games from. But
I've watched a lot of games from over their shoulder, and that I didn't really even think that was an option to say. But yes, that is the best view in the ballpark.
Well, not their booth, but
yes, that level and that general area,
club level. I think that's my favorite part.
Yeah, that's fair. Next question is from Sean. How would you feel about MLB incorporating a mercy rule? I've enjoyed it in the WBC because it gives both teams something to play for, even in a blowout. The team up by a bunch plays to end the game early with a walk-off. The team down by a bunch plays to save themselves the embarrassment of being mercy ruled. As much as I enjoy position player pitching, I never watch MLB blowouts once the game is out of hand.
My guy Manfred's in New York, just like
his ears just lit up.
Yeah, it's never gonna happen.
No, I'm just working in baseball logistically. I'm like, well, all right, we've got X number of like sponsor spots we got to run. You can't end the game in the fourth. And if I went to a game, I would be so furious if it got called early because one team's up too high.
X number of commercial breaks.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's someone who's done a million post-game shows, and you kind of like for it to be the sixth inning and all of a sudden be like, hey, if Devers hits a 3-run homer right here,
we're going straight to post. Could you imagine how you don't even have your jacket on.
Yeah, part of me wants to be like slightly on board with this because some of those games are just, it used to be better. Now it's just like, when you see like Kike Hernandez pitching 2 innings, and it's just some of those are really hard to watch.
I think there needs to be like a culture shift in baseball where they stop doing the position player pitching thing, or other teams just fully say, cool, we are teeing off on your position player pitching.
Yeah, I also kind of hate those innings that take forever, like when it's
Good.
13-1. So
then there should be shame for waving that white flag.
It is a weird thing because there's just I don't know that there's a good solution to the end of those games. I in retrospect, I miss the days when some kid would go out there and throw 40 pitches out of the bullpen and but actually just get everybody home.
Yeah.
And pitch like 3 innings and you're like,
mop it up, do the dirty work. Yes.
So I don't know what the right solution is. I did kind of like the mercy rule home run, but I don't know that I want it to be a regular part of baseball. And I'm Mr. like pitch clock, Mr. Runner on second base. I'm fine with. So
yeah, Alex is like, if we could have 25-minute games, that'd be great.
Leave it hour 25 now.
The one thing I will say about the WBC one is any rule that is stricken from the like championship rounds and semifinal rounds, I think is by default a bad rule. That's how I feel about all the rules baseball does not do in the playoffs. If you're not willing to use the rules on the biggest stage, don't use the rules at all. And WBC does not have the mercy rule, in my understanding, during quarterfinals, finals, semifinals.
My response to that is I cannot wait for the first runner on second this year, and hope it's a podcast night. I need to look up the stats because I think the Giants have lost far more extra innings games since that rule was invented than the other way around. It started poorly.
Yes.
So I don't know where they've ended up, but it started poorly.
One more mailbag question for today. Matt says, what is spring training like for the coaching staff? Are coaches being evaluated the same way players are? For split games, how is it determined who fills in as manager, first base coach, third base coach, etc.?
This group's probably being evaluated a little bit, but at the same time, like it's not, they're all on the team. So I think the main thing for coaches in spring training is just the complete opposite. Like it's the same way for players, but some of these guys, like I think Wash wakes up at like 4 a.m. And I know Tony's talked quite a bit about the adjustment of how early you have to kind of go to bed to be ready. And there's so many meetings in the morning and so many meetings before 9 a.m. And it's just, I think that's the biggest thing is how much they're doing every morning. And then you get home next week and it's like, hey, Monday, Tuesday night exhibitions, Friday night game. And then starting the next Monday in San Diego, it's like night game. So, and these guys are all nuts anyway. They're going to show up probably at 11 a.m. or 7 o'clock. But that's the biggest thing I think for those guys is just the schedule and how much they're doing. And it's not like you're watching a bullpen for Robbie Ray between starts. You're watching every single guy throwing a bullpen. I never see the pitching coaches ever because they're just constant bullpens over and over and over again. So I think that spring training is hard for them in that way. But in terms of evaluating, I mean, they're all set. They're the ones doing the evaluation. And then for split squads, it's usually the bench coach who has one of the teams. Every once in a while, they'll have fun with like a, veteran can take over or whatever. But there's split squads this spring. Tony has taken one and Jace Tingler has taken the other.
That makes sense. All right, that is it for our mailbag questions today. As always, if you have questions for us, go ahead and send them to Alex or myself, wherever you can find us on social media. I think we're on almost all of the major apps, so hunt us down. We'll add your questions to our list and try to squeeze them in a topically relevant situation or right away. Depends on the question.
Yeah, we will. Before we leave, just one thing, and this is especially for people who have followed my writing for a long time are probably familiar with this, but Bay Area journalism lost a couple people recently, Dave Newhouse and Carl Stewart. I never met Dave. He was a little bit before my time. I knew Carl very well. Dave was 87, passed away from heart failure. Carl was 72. He had cancer. Carl, when I started my career at the Mercury News, was my backup. And I would blog after every game because Andrew Baggerly blogged after every game. So he'd like write a game story and then write these long blogs. And every time he took over, he would do the exact same thing. And like it'd literally be like 2 a.m. and he has like every thought from the game. So he was an incredible backup, incredible person. I spent years working with him, and he loved baseball and was just really dedicated to it. So wanted to shout him out in particular because he was somebody I worked closely with at the Merc. And I know a lot of listeners, including people I've met here, who I go back to like those days with, like the Mercury News days and like live chats and like post-game blogs and all that. Like I think all those people probably remember Carl filling in all the time and doing a great job. So he was the best, and he'll be missed.
Yeah. Shout out Carl. Shout out Dave Newhouse. The Bay Area sports and journalism community lost some legends.